Welcome back. Now this time we're going to write an update book function, and first you're going to of course write it yourself, so I'm going to give you the specifications. And the function parameter, of course, it takes books, just like this function right here. We wrote most of these functions take this books parameter. Next thing is going to ask for the ID, just like all of these functions, the update, the return book, and the issue book. Then it's going to use the find book method to take the index of that book. Then the only difference is that it's going to use the create book method that we wrote in the earlier times of this section, this create book function that returns a book, this version of the book, not the dictionary version of the book. And when it does that, you take its ID using the you have already taken the ID using the find book function, and so you replace using that ID this newly created book that you asked the user to build with the old book. For example, this book, I will update it. I will create a new book, ask the user for all these things, and it'll update it right here. Then of course you can save it, and if book is not found, you can just say that, oh well, I didn't find the book that you were looking for. Now pause the lecture and write the function yourself, and in a few moments I'm going to write it for you, so if you have any problem you can also check the solution here. Welcome back. I'm sure that you have written the function yourself. Now I'm gonna write the function for you. First thing, of course, we use the def keyword and then write the name of the function, update book. Then of course you give them all the books, and then you say, okay, well, I'm gonna take the ID from the user, and I can say, okay, well, what is the, enter the ID of book you want to update. I have the ID now. Now I have also written a find book function right here. It gives me the index of the book that I'm looking for. So I'm going to find the book using this function. I'm going to pass in all the books, and I'm going to give him the ID, give the function the ID. And if that ID is found, if index is not none, what do I do? Well, according to this, the specifications that we wrote, it's going to create a book, and it's going to ask the user to do it. We have already written a function for that, so a new book is going to be a create book method. Is that what it is? Yes, sir. It's a create book method. Very simple. Now, we have created a book, we've stored it in a new book. It's a class version of the book, remember that. So now we have that book at a specific address. Well, there's another thing that we have to do. We have to take the old book. Remember that these memories keep filling up. We have to do something about it. So old book is going to be from these books index. And of course, we found the index from that ID, and we have all the books here. So we have stored that class. Remember that we have this we have the address of the class. We have everything that we need stored in this old book as well. So it points to that. Now we're going to replace this index, the book at this index, with this new book. So this is what we have done. Now there's one more thing. As I said, the memory keeps filling up if you don't delete an object, so you can just do del old book. That's it. The old book is deleted. You cannot access that object. That's cool. Now you can just print, well, book successfully updated. Cool. Now we're going to do another thing. If the book was not found, you can just say we could not find your book. Pretty cool. Now this is all the update function is going to do. Now of course, if the user presses 6, we have to call this function right here. It's called update book. Pass in the books, and now let's see what happens if we run it. First we have to load all the books. They're loaded, and now you can update a book. 12, this one right here. Let's change it to something meaningful. Let's change the ID to 1, change the name to deep learning, change description to a deep learning book, ISBN is some random string, page count is 621, let's say, issued no, author name Ian Goodfellow, and year 2016. Book successfully updated. Now we have to save the book, of course, locally. Book successfully saved. Now let's see what happened here. We changed all the information right here using the update method. So this book is now updated, and that's all you had to do with the update book function. Now there are only a few functions left: the show all books function and show book function. So the user enters an ID and you show them the book, and the user says, okay, show me all the books that you have, and it shows all the books. In the next lecture, we're going to deal with these two functions. So I'll see you then.